Welcome back to the next lesson, and I'm going to introduce the references of aliens that I want to take in order for you to get an idea of the concept of the fields towards I want to take it. So, well, there's a lot of styles and lots of things you have to consider if you want to develop it properly. But, I'm going to take it more towards a realistic concept art, maybe. For example, we have here a kind of, I wouldn't even know how to describe it, but because their main features are irregular forms and adding loads of extremities, deform them, change their position, and, relying basically on human anatomy in the beginning as a start. And then, as I was telling you in the previous lesson, developing the creativity depending on what you want to create. For example, in this case, it almost divides in half, but the figure on the left is a two-legged animal, and you can perfectly see it is anthropomorphic. What can vary later is what I was telling you, like the position of the legs, etc. This would be a similar example. We can see the biped appearance is also present, but the muscles may vary. In this case, we see the eyes are laid throughout the chest and maybe the neck, and maybe even the mouth could be placed in the torso, not necessarily in the head because we assume it's gotta be there. Then we have illustrations that are even more humanized, like this one, for example, here, in which we see a kind of a man, so to speak, just to categorize it somehow. A man showing some features that make us see he's an alien, like, for example, the white nose, pointy teeth, wide and small eyes, and those little ears aligned with the eyes. Even the skin tone, which changes considerably, though it has a quite human structure. But the only thing changing is the skin tone and the face setup. As you see, I'm showing lots of examples in which we can see two-legged creatures. I want to base my illustration in the fact that you can create an alien starting from the human shape and that it's not something too complicated to do. As I was telling you, you have to focus on the skin color, for example, in deforming the extremities, in varying them, in trying to get a kind of concept that can help. For example, in this case, it's another biped, but the structure of the legs is completely human. It's a kind of variation that could be used based in the imagination, or maybe some kind of reference because the knee is almost out of its joint. And, it could remind us a bit to the bird's legs. And then, for example, the little arms coming from the chest and those are pretty much its features. In this case, we see that the appearance of the face is much more feminine. The face is more defined, with the lips and the eye reminding of those of a human. The nose is slightly different, though. The skull structure and the neck has some differences and, now in this case we have a little creature, which I picked because I find it funny, since we can see it's quite similar to a kiwi, which is a bird, and it reminds me to some kind of beetle because of the protuberances coming from its skull. And, it's funny how when adding different textures to the skin, as I was saying, combining them with random hair or any other type of appearance, it can generate a completely different image of what we can have in mind about this. Then, in this example here, we can see this is not the case of a four-legged animal. In this case, we see it's a different species in which the body can be very similar to some big feline, maybe. In this case, the structure changes radically. It can resemble like maybe a dragon, or we can even bear in mind as a reference for the aliens, the TV show Pokemon, for example. In this case, we have an alien that evokes the sea. We can see it similar to a great hammerhead, but with legs. And, well, it has a bit of a feline resemblance itself. Well, from here on, it's just graphic references I chose because I like them. I wanted to tell you before the video ends that your design is going to depend on the environment you decide to place the alien. This way you have to think a bit before making the illustration. But that's for the next lesson, so see you then and let's get ready for it. See you soon!